I think and that connects to something you said earlier, which is that, which was one of those things that I want to make sure we get back to, which is that people experience life these days more often through their screens, and
Mhm.
they are observing other people experiencing life rather than experiencing it themselves. I think that's related to you were mentioning the consumption, digital liturgy, and man, I think that's powerful and a lot to dig into there.
Yeah, it's pretty concerning to me that, uh, as I mentioned in the book, we've kind of we've taken the word porn and we've kind of created a suffix out of it, so that if you want to look at beautiful pictures of a night sky or the Grand Canyon, you post that online, and all of a sudden it's earth porn.
Mm.
And if you take food like a delicious meal, and you take a picture of it and you post it online, well, that's now food porn. And I think there's something significant in that lingo. Like we are inventing a vocabulary that kind of reveals that we know what the internet is good for. The internet is good for taking experiences and turning that into kind of this empty digital consumption. So food exists to be eaten. Food exists to be enjoyed physically. Landscapes exist to be seen and to be inhabited. They don't exist simply for content, and yet that's what we do. We turn it into content because it accommodates our cravings and our desires, but it doesn't really. It kind of leaves us feeling empty at the end of the day. And so I think a lot of people are experiencing this. They kind of feel that their day in, day out existence is so kind of simulated that their friendships are all via text or via DMs. Their learning and their experience of the world is all done through Google or these online kind of web articles. They kind of feel like life is now funneled through their screen. And
Mm.
that creates kind of a sense of discontent and a sense of restlessness, and I think that's good. I think it's supposed to. I don't think we're supposed to have relationships that we only encounter online, or that we have this kind of virtual self, and this virtual self is out there, and it's not really connected to who we are in our embodied lives. So I think the ethic of consumption is really endemic to the nature of the web. And a lot of people, a lot of men that I talk to in particular, and I know this is not just a men's issue, but a lot of men I talk to in particular, talking about pornography and kind of how to help men overcome this particular problem. I think there's something to be said for the fact that an addiction to pornography is an addiction to the internet, and
Hmm.
that it's not just the particular content on the internet that's the presenting issue. It's the actual way that you're getting it is this way of experiencing the world that is actually harmful for you, no matter what it's showing you. If it's showing you friendships instead of pornography, there's still kind of this deadening of your conscience to living life online. And when you kind of show people that there's a different way to live, there's joys, and there's real emotional presence, and there's a sense of wholeness that's available when your attention span and your physical location are not fighting each other, when your relational bandwidth and your kind of output are not explicitly severed from each other. There's a sense of becoming a whole person again. And I think people are eager for something like that. And so, to the degree that anyone might be listening to this who is kind of just struggling with online pornography, and doesn't really understand why, their resolutions and accountability structures haven't really worked the way they wanted them to, I would invite them to consider the fact that it may be a medium problem. It might be your life is being conditioned online in ways that you don't even recognize, and so maybe address that issue and see if there's not a freedom that comes there.
Absolutely. I would add to that I think that it goes deeper than just lust. So often we talk about pornography as just a lust issue, and men or women need to get their lust in check. And obviously, lust is involved. But I think there's a deeper emptiness that is
Mm.
trying to be covered up. Um, and I think that it's a lack of purpose and meaning being experienced in daily lives. And so whenever they are experiencing that lack of purpose and meaning, well, then they need dopamine hits. They need something to make them feel better. And once again, this goes back to the broader point that the whole medium is conditioning people to search out that dopamine hit. Because, what gives you the quicker satisfaction? Like you said, watching food porn or like going through all the difficulty of going to the store, the trial and error of cooking, baking, whatever else, and doing it for yourself. Even though we know like getting to eat the meal is obviously objectively better, a lot of the times we do settle for just like watching some recipe or cooking videos rather than doing it for ourselves. And so there's like, it goes back to an escape from experiencing life for ourselves, because life, even the fun stuff, the enjoyable stuff, comes with difficulty very often. Those pictures of the great hikes and vacations, to get to experience any of that, it comes with like a really difficult jog up a hill.
That's right. Yeah.
It comes with working hard so you can get some time off to be able to go to those places, and so budgeting correctly and using your time well and preparing well. There's a lot of difficulty that comes with that. And so we escape from the responsibility and difficulty that comes with experiencing life for the cheap dopamine hits that come from pornography or other content on the internet. In Impossible People, Os Guinness wrote that he believed that at the very bottom of the pornography problem was an escape from responsibility. That was it more than anything else, and I thought that was profound.
Yeah, I think that's a really insightful point, that life is very much one of labor and of suffering and of kind of enduring the short-term pain for the longer-term payoff. And if there's one thing that the ethic of the internet is decidedly against, it is the idea of short-term pain for long-term payoff. Like the values of the computer system are intrinsically opposed to that, because it's instant. It's instant gratification. Whatever you want, you can find instantly. Whatever you don't want, you can click out of instantly. And so to the extent that the web has kind of mediated our experience of the world, and I think that's true of a lot of people. I think people who are older may not really understand that there is an emerging generation of U.S. adults for whom the internet was the definitive medium for how they learned how to communicate, how they learned how to read, how they learned to experience the world. And for people for whom that's true, there's, I think, a category lacking of sacrifice, of kind of enduring hardship for the sake of something better, because the values of the immediacy of the web have just deeply shaped what they expect from life. And I think that's true of all of us to probably a sizable degree.